Mother. Man.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem! All right, we're here at the Dark History Convention. We got Christopher St. Booth here with us, doing a little interview with Murder Metal Mayhem. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. How's everything been with you? I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on. We'll probably get to that when we close this out. Some new stuff coming up we can let our listeners know, because anybody that knows about the Booth Brothers knows you guys specialize in paranormal. A lot of awesome documentaries you've done about the paranormal. One of the subjects I'm really interested in, because you've got some of them here at this booth, is these exorcism kits.
And they're
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we started collecting, I guess, things you would call as attachments, because we're doing a new show called The Attached. So it kind of all started where we were looking for things that had an epic story behind them, and what kind of landed on my lap, which was weird, was at a big estate auction. There was this one item that nobody would buy. No one would touch it.
Oh, wow.
It didn't matter. Nobody would touch it. But that is like an invitation for me to
Yeah, right.
That just says, well, now I need to get this.
I need that.
So, and what that was the real exorcism Emily Rose. The real girl it happened to, she died at 23 years old, was Anneliese Michel, and she's from Germany.
Yep.
And her estate went in and started selling everything, and a priest that was a family friend had gotten that box, and he wanted to get rid of it. And so they started auctioning a lot of stuff off the estate. So I went in and I did a bid, and no one else would bid for it because they were really scared of it.
I'm sure. Now, is there any attachment, like, for somebody that, I mean, is the fear legit that whatever entity came out of that exorcism could be attached to that?
If you know the exorcism, it's the only exorcism where I mean, it's interesting, did it work or didn't? She died during the exorcism.
Right.
But she wanted to die because she believed that if she died, she would trap the 7 demons that was inside her.
Okay.
And take them down. And basically she was the jail and kept them, and she was buried with them inside her.
Wow.
And she believed that's what she wanted to do instead of, be exorcised, and then where would those demons go?
I see, okay.
So for that reason, they bring in this whole exorcism, and the exorcism box is in her bedroom. The energy felt the exorcism in the room, so whether you believe, the dark energy attached to it, which I had to kind of do a wake-up call, how is my belief? And I think if you have a little crack, and it doesn't matter what you believe in, as long as you believe in something,
right.
Passion, is that I believe, in the light so much, and still becomes very man-made, because, I believe in God, but a lot of it to me is man-made.
Okay.
For money, as like anything.
Right.
But I do
Organized
believe.
religion,
Yeah, I do believe
yeah.
in Jesus, but how much I don't know. But I'm Church of England, so I do believe in him, but we don't worship him every day. So I'm looking and I'm opening the box when it first arrives in a big trunk, and I'm going, oh, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so
What am I opening
I
up?
put rubber gloves on. Like,
Oh, wow.
how would that protect me? Well, mostly because it's musty. That box is 1878. It was made.
Wow.
The exorcism happened in 73. She died in 74. I mean, throughout the concepts of the last 3 months. But I opened it up, and I expected the feeling of dread, which is usually what you get. Oh no, I did the real Exorcist house, as the DVD,
Yeah,
the Exorcist
yeah.
house. We were the first in there, so I had a copy of the real diary. And that place feels like there's absolutely no hope.
Really?
Okay.
And that is the worst feeling you could ever, meaning no matter, you're working on your car, you hope that you're going to be able to fix it.
Right.
Imagine the feeling of no hope, or there's no hope for your life, or no hope for your family. That feeling of dread, it's horrible.
Wasn't that the inscription over the gates of hell, supposedly?
Yeah, abandon all hope in you enters.
all
Yeah, well,
those
that's
who
what it
enter here,
feels like.
yeah. Wow.
And it's a really bad feeling. You can't shake it. I think that house needs to be pulled down, the exorcism. But so I was expecting that same kind of energy, but I opened it up and I felt, oh my God, it worked. A completeness came out of it.
Really?
And it
That's
wasn't
cool.
scary because we have a lot of convent crosses that are over 125 years old. So we have those in the basement where we keep our stuff as well as that. So with all that energy, it actually blew out our internet router that was downstairs.
Wow.
Because it was just all, wow. You feel almost invincible with that kind of energy behind it. It's a passion and a belief. Like anything, you must believe and have so much passion that you feel really good when you look at something that reminds you to stay on track, whether you're a Buddhist. I mean, that whole concept of a Buddhist statue is to look at it and go, gives you peace, go, okay, cool, I can make it through the day.
Right.
The concept of a Jesus is like, hey, he's going to protect you. So the energy from all that just was very, very positive to me, and I realized that if you had a crack in your belief system, that's why you should be worried, because then it would get through. So it's important not to have a crack in whatever you believe, and then you've made that solid wall.
Well, that's what they tell the exorcists in that actual rite of exorcism is don't show any break. Like you're talking about no break, no weakness,
fear.
don't engage directly. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in that Roman rite
And
of
don't stray from your
exorcism.
belief.
Yeah, which would jive with that.
I did a show for the Discovery at Destination America, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was called Exorcism Live. And it was a big live event where the
I remember that.
Yeah,
You guys did that?
Yeah, I was on it.
Oh, okay.
I brought the diary. I was like on there for like 10 minutes. And they actually should have put it in more because it was actually the real diary about the house that was going in. But I have to tell you, nobody would go into that house. Nobody from the networks would go into the house.
Right.
It was a big production. Everybody was scared because I had already been in it since in 2009 to do that show.
Right.
So I returned 10 years later, basically.
I see.
You knew what to expect when you went in
Well,
there.
it actually was worse.
Oh, was it
Oh,
worse
wow.
the second time?
Yeah, the oppression was even.
Do people live there now?
Yes, there's a gentleman that owns
Wow.
it, and he's sort of a goth rocker. And the reason why we went in there was his girlfriend got pregnant, and she was going to make the exorcism boys' bedroom into a nursery.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going, no. Whether you believe the exorcism is real, or you believe that the boy was meant to, he was a boy, not a girl.
Right, Robbie
Believe,
Manhunt.
actually, his real name is Ronald Hunter. That's his real name. You can find that on the internet, so I'm not giving it away.
Oh, no, no.
That's his real name, and I don't know if he's still alive, but if he would be alive, he'd be close to 80 or just over than 80 years old now.
I heard he lived, like a somewhat normal life after that. It was
Well, he became a scientist, and he actually developed patterns, where he created the heat shield for the moon unit.
Really?
So when the first in the 60s, when the moon unit went up, he created the shields.
Oh, wow.
So you wouldn't burn up in space. He actually developed that.
Oh, wow.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But her exorcism was really terrible, and she died at 23 years old, 64 pounds.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures.
Yeah, I don't have the pictures on my table because
Some of those sounds she made was horrific. My God.
Those tapes are very hard to listen to. And there was no tapes when we did The Exorcist, the real true story, because the church does not allow you to record an exorcism.
Right.
Only make a transcription, which is the transcription I have. So we actually utilized some of those sounds in the movie that you have just gotten.
Okay.
So you'll hear it because it's the concept of what a real exorcism is.
Okay.
But the movie, it goes much depth. Like, for instance, when the boy was possessed, he wrote on the sheets what the devil told him to do.
Right.
So the priest would put wrapping paper on at night, and then in the morning they'd change his bed, they would pull the wrapping paper sheets off and study what he wrote on it.
Wow.
And we show you those sheets.
Wow. Interesting.
Intense stuff.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, you guys have done a lot of different, stories, obviously. What's the one that sticks with you? Is there one particular one?
Well, we lost our
you?
paranormal virginity, so to speak, to Death Tunnel, which is Wayville Sanatorium. And we did one horror movie before that down in Linda Vista Hospital, and we did actually feel that we saw this little girl ghost running around, but we weren't really into the paranormal. But when we got down to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and saw the sanatorium, supposedly, thousands of people died in that tunnel of death where they would wheel the bodies out.
Right.
We filmed a horror movie there.
Oh, wow.
So.
And you thought you saw something?
Oh, I did see something. I caught it on a camera when I was scouting there. Yeah, it's actually in the documentary we did, Spooked, because when we were down there making the movie, it was so beyond, the activity was so real. We were making a horror movie in a real haunted place, but the activity came out on our film. I brought in another film crew into film us filming.
Oh, wow.
We made a documentary called Spooked, The Ghosts of Wayville Sanatorium, and then Sci-Fi Channel bought that. Sony did the movie, and Sci-Fi Channel bought the documentary, and then after that we started doing documentaries for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Oh, wow. Now, so when did you do that? When
2006.
Okay.
The movie, Death Tunnel was 2004, Spook was 2006, and then we did Children of the Grave, and then we did another.
See, that's what I saw, was the first dealings I had with you guys was that Children of the Grave documentary with those shadow people in the wood line. That is freaky.
It is freaky.
And then that zombie road that you guys talk about on there with
the thing about shooting in a forest that's haunted, you can't get out of there, because in a house or an asylum you can walk out the door. But in a forest, especially 6 miles down, you gotta walk. You gotta, it was like 3 miles in, 3 miles out. You had to walk 3 miles out of here.
Right.
And so you couldn't just get the fuck out.
Right. No, that freaked me out when I first saw that, and that's when my first thing I had ever seen that you guys did. I was like, wow, that's
I remember
really neat.
that just like yesterday, and I remember falling onto the bed on the hotel at the end of the day and going, wow. Just wow.
Yeah,
because we searched for those shadow figures, yes. We shot those shadow figures, and we couldn't find them till the end, and it was the thermal imager, represent the exact image as the picture they sent us.
Yeah.
But I also, this is not in the show, but the EVPs we were getting were almost mechanical alien sounding.
Really?
They were like tones that went, da 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 da, and I went, what the hell's that? Right before I would talk, so it would go da 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 da, and then you would hear me say, "Look over there," like it was referencing me to say the style and what I was going to say, meaning to get away from where I was looking or give me a clue where to look at. But either way, and that's why I started realizing that, all these ghost hunting shows, they get all these children. Shadow children, they call them shadow children, and they all seem to have big heads, if you've noticed, and all these, they're called imps or whatever. And I said, why do they want to think that they're a ghost? Because they could be an alien. They could be coming through the paranormal realm between your blinks. I mean, you blink, the things you are missing. I don't know the exact amount, but the scientific concept is that you're missing 15 minutes every day in your life in between your blink. So imagine if something new and could move in between your blinks or come out and get out.
That's crazy. I've never heard that
That's
before.
interesting.
That is,
yeah, it's true, though. It's actually true.
Crazy. I've never heard
So that's what the concept of, hey, I saw it out the corner of my eye.
Okay.
And that's where vortex, in another show, I actually caught a vortex photo. You take a shot, and a shot in the second photo is totally spinning. So the frame caught you in between your blink, and that's where it happened, and the whole room turned around.
Wow.
So, I mean, I love that kind of stuff because it's really fascinating
It is
stuff.
very fascinating.
A lot better than just getting a cold spot by a you know, a night
Right.
vision ghost hunting
Right,
camera,
yeah.
which is so overused now.
It is. It is.
It feels cold over here. No, I saw some shit for real though.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time
Yeah, my
out,
pleasure.
Christopher.
Mother, man.